Akiva, that's right. That counts for 2 votes. Okay. So we started.
Paris wants it later anyways. It's not like he wants
election,
it early.
Akiva. It's rigged.
It's fine. You're not going to vote against me. You're going to vote for later.
I could just say, but again, the timing thing. It's 8:30. Look. We have a nice crowd tonight.
Yeah, no, 8:30. Yeah, so we'll go like 8:30. Yeah, so that we're gonna stick with 8:30. With 8:30. Okay, but here we go. Thursday night, 8:30 does not work. I would say right now, Aaron's making a vote in Brooklyn. Truth is, maybe it does work.
Maybe we should do a live share at the vote.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna have to for the third time tonight.
Just because you finish Kaddish doesn't mean you're not an Avelis, all right?
You're in
the
year,
if I come for the shir, I understand.
I'm
still in. I know where I am, but if he's giving the shir, I can come to the shir and say Mazel Tov.
You know,
if there's a Marav in the vicinity,
if you don't answer Yaakov, you don't know where you are. So don't tell me you know where you are.
Reb Aaron, you don't understand the rule. If there's a Marav in the vicinity, he could come. That's right. The rule.
That's it.
Yaakov told me he really thinks it's better if you like 16 months.
I want to be like 4 years for this stuff. I'll be a machmer.
There you go. Hey, all right. Anyways, fine. Okay, so let's start now. Yeah, with the okay. So now we have a lot to do with this stuff.
What daf? Where are we up to? What daf?
We're on the Mishnah on Samach Aleph on the base. And maybe when Marchuk's not on, maybe we'll get to one of the most famous stories in Shas, but I don't think we'll get to it today because he's not here. Maybe give him a chance to come tomorrow. But okay. So anyway, so the Mishnah says, so we said that somebody makes a neder that he's not going to sleep with his wife. So Beishamai had said if he makes that neder that he's not sleeping with her for 2 weeks, and Basil says for 1 week, then he's out. Then he has to get divorced because a man has to provide the mitzvah of Aina to his wife, and if he makes a neder not to, so then he's out, right? And then the Mishnah said that Talmidim could go learn Torah without asking their wives' permission for 30 days. But if they ask their wives' permission, if they ask I'm saying they don't have to ask their wives' permission for 30 days, but more than 30 days, they do have to ask their wives' permission, right? And then the Mishnah goes through all the different times of the Ainas. Meaning what's the minimum? Now, people think that this Mishnah means the maximum amount of times you could be with your wife. No, it's clear that it means the minimum amount of time. So depending on what your job description is, which we'll see later on in the daf, that's when your wife goes in with that mentality, how often you're going to be home. And depending on how often you're home, that's what you're mechuyev to be together with your wife. Right? So we'll see as the Gemara goes through. So Zok the Gemara. My time, so again, Beishamai we still have Machlokes is what the minimum amount of time to make a neder is that you're not going to be able to stay married. All right, so my time at the Beishamai. So Beishamai says it's 2 weeks. Gamri meyaledes nekeva. We learn it out from a woman who gives birth to a female, so that she becomes tummy for 2 weeks. So that's 2 weeks that you go. That's 2 weeks that you go without being together. So that's considered normal. 2 weeks is considered normal. Beis Hillel, Gamri meyela the Zachar, and Beis Hillel, he learns it out from a Zachar. So Zachar, you go for 1 week. The Tumah of Zachar is 1 week, so that's what you have to keep. Now nowadays, this is not negay. Most women are seeing dam for 4 or 5 weeks after birth. So therefore, I don't know exactly how it went on back then. So nowadays, I don't know if you would change that to say that it would have to be a neder not to sleep with his wife for 5, 6 weeks. I don't know, but there's an interesting thing here. Just to bring in the practical halacha. Maybe I shouldn't say it barabim. Maybe I don't consider this barabim, but I guess it's going on to the internet, so it is barabim. But there is a shaila when if somebody needs to use birth control. So a condom is usher according to most shitas. There is one shita that holds that it's mutter. And so there's certain big paisik, whoever can figure out who it is, who will sometimes be matir the condom, really depending on how long the couple will not be able to be together, for if they don't use a condom. meaning their choice is no intimacy at all, no intercourse, or to use a condom, meaning no other form of birth control can they use. So I'm trying to figure, based on all the shilas I got asked, I'm trying to figure out what this Rav's geder is for how long they can manage without it. And it's random. Sometimes it can be 2-3 weeks and he matters it, and sometimes like it'll have to be 4, 5, 6 weeks, right? But that is a practical nafkamina that does come up. Okay, whatever it is. So that's a machlokes v'shabbos. So the Gemara asks, Beis Hillel nami nigmaru miyaledis nekeva, but Beis Hillel, why doesn't he learn it out from a nekeva? Right? Meaning, if the whole point you're trying to figure out how long a woman could go without intimacy, so you're saying that the maximum is nekeva, so why wouldn't Beis Hillel learn from that also? Why is he only saying a week? So if he learned it out from Yoledes, then that's true. But Ella Beis Hillel mi nida gemirula. Beis Hillel learns it out from nida. Now nida, according to the halacha, according to the basic daraisa, nida is 1 week, not more than that. So, okay, we obviously added on because they're the Rabanan, etc., etc. But the bottom line is nida minat Torah is a week, right? So since it's a week, so that's clearly what the Torah meant, that a couple can tolerate from not being together more than a week. If a husband says more than a week, he's not going to be together with his wife, so that's ground for divorce. Not only grounds for divorce, he has to get divorced. All right. So we learned something that's common from something else that's common, meaning nida is very common, right? And what do you call it? And so now what's common over here? Now this is a wild Rashi. 4th wide line down in the Rashi. Just we have to look at it just because I mean the Rashi says it. I would not have thought this on my own. Right, but Rashi says, Rashi's saying that we want to learn something common from something common. So nida is obviously common, that happens on a monthly basis, and a neder against sleeping with your wife is also common. Rashi says, yeah, kas shekoyas al ishtay umadira. It's a common thing to get angry at one's wife and make a neder. You're not sleeping with her. Can somebody explain to me, Rabanan, we're getting back to our rule again. So, I mean, how many people? Can we take a vote here?
You got to get really angry if you're going to say something like that.
Correct.
And that's like a major fight. That happens common.
And that's what I mean. That's what he's saying, Rashi.
I think that makes the fight worse.
Yeah, it sure does.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make things better.
Shmuel David, the guy could be a starker. He has 4 wives, so. If she didn't get burnt him to toast, so he could say to that wife, "You got another 3 wives in other rooms." No big deal.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Also,
that's true. You're right. Multiple. What we're going to see later on in the daf or tomorrow's daf, that's really not. You're not supposed to have multiple wives.
Does Rashi mean Madira mitashmish or Madira in general?
Either one.
Yeah, it's not so uncommon. I mean, I hope it's more uncommon than I think. I'm not going shopping for a week. Are
you being serious? It's not uncommon. How many times? I'm just saying. How many times do you think someone on this daf has made a neder against their wife?
Every time. So I don't know. On this daf, never.
Never. So I don't think it's a common. It's not a common thing nowadays.
No, but you hear people do say, "I'm never going to go shopping for you again. I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to do that."
But it's not common. It's not common like a period.
Is that, and that's a
well,
neder?
Okay, but I don't know how much.
She says you got the wrong thing at the supermarket, so you say, "Okay, I'm never going to go back for you again." That's a neder.
Well, that's okay. That's a shiloh whether that's a neder. That's a shiloh. That's a neder. But
yeah.
That's a wish list.
No, but in the days of the Gemara, how shchiach was nida also. Everyone was musalekas damim most of their lives. She got married at 13. She got pregnant for the next. No, but in reality, it's more common than Leda, but it's not. For 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Every time she's a Selekas Damim.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But the thing is also the lashon of Kaas Shekoyas al Ishtar. Right? Forget about the neder part. I'm saying Kaas Shekoyas al Ishtar. We just got finished with Shara Kaas Orchos Tzadikim, right? Kas shekoyes al ishtoi seems to be a common thing. Okay, I don't know. Whatever.
I think the Metzias nowadays is the opposite. I think women get angry at their husbands and say, "Don't touch me, get away from me. You're
that's
sleeping on the couch." The Metzias have changed. They're making
it could very well be that you're right. It could be. Yeah. Parrots. Yeah. Don't repeat it, parrots. Yeah, but anyways.
Maybe we all need to go to that Shalom Bayis shiur on Thursdays.
It's not a Shalom Bayis shiur. It's not a Shalom Bayis shiur. But anyway, okay. So whatever. It's a fascinating
in general is going to be Shalom Bayis. So.
That's true.
And it's on Wednesdays.
Yeah. But anyway, so again, so I don't know. It seemed to have been common to get angry at wives back then. Fine. Something where he made it, right? Meaning that you're learning something that a neder from something that he caused, meaning he caused the baby to be born, right? He's the one that made her pregnant. So Mamela, we learn it out from that. Okay, that's Pshat in the Machlokes. So then Omar Rab, Machlokes the Mefarish. The Machlokes b'Sham is only if he said the amount of time that he's going to stay away from her. Al Bistam, let's say Stam says, I'm not sleeping with you anymore. Divrei Akol Yotzi la'alter v'yitim, so he has to get divorced right away, and he has to give her the ksuba. Shmuel says, Afilu Bistam nami yamtim, even Stam, you have to wait. At least 2 weeks. Because like with any time you have a neder, right? If somebody that makes a neder and then he has charot on the neder, so if he can go and explain to a rav why it is that he made the neder, and had he realized the situation, he wouldn't have made the neder, then maybe they can get him out of the neder.
Isn't this a big leap to say that the person, when he's having something with his wife, it's based on how the Torah asked a menikis or a yoledis or somebody who has a period. Who Mehekatesed has anything to do with that?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Why did Beis Shammai Beis Hillel say, well, you see the Torah said you couldn't have tashmish for a week or for 2 weeks, so must be that should be, if somebody makes a ned, it should be like that, based on that the right. Why?
Because that seems to be the maximum time.
Why don't they ask a doctor what the maximum time is that you can take that away from a lady without her going Meshiga? Why is Shiloh for a doctor?
Maybe, but I hear, but I guess they wanted to base it on what the Torah said. If the Torah told you that you could stay away for a week or 2 weeks, so then that must be something tolerable, as opposed
not a baby. A lady wants to stay away longer from her husband when she has a girl than when she has a boy. I mean, that's also something.
That's a shiloh, exactly right. Why exactly the girl has more tumah than the guy? That we learned that Sefer HaChinuch. We said that the girl there's more in what did we say, more not infections, whatever. There was
more kedusha. The Chinuch says more kedusha.
Yep.
The Chinuch says more.
Yep, they got more kedusha. That's why we say Shalom Asani Isha. You believe that? You believe that nonsense that they tell the girls in seminar? You believe that?
I'm sorry, it's what can I say? I believe him more than I believe you. That's for sure.
What do all the other 187 Rishonim say?
Anyways,
I haven't seen anyone that says anything else. He says there's more kedusha because they bring kedusha into the world. Pru Ravu is the kayach is given to them.
The Chinuch says it. The Chinuch says it's something about that. There's more leichus and this and that about the. Okay, either way. So let's see. We didn't even start today's daf. Yeah, we didn't start today's daf yet. So let's go. Yeah. So Gemara says, we already had this machlokes about making the dorm. The Tanana Madar is if somebody makes a neder from his wife for that he's not going to, that the wife can't get hana from him for 30 days, Yamid Parnas. He has to set up a Parnas. A Parnas is like a middleman to be able to give her food or whatever it is. Yarsim mikan, yaitzav eating super. But if he does more than 30 days, he makes a neder that his wife's not going to get anything out of him for more than 30 days, then he has to divorce her and but he has to give her the ksuba.
Does he owe the parnas money for this?
I would think so.
So then how is he not getting enough from this?
Yeah, it's harama.
It's not. How is it aroma? What I'm saying is that you're mechoyer to the person's doing you is your shliach basically.
Yeah, so
that's why you're mechoyer to him. If he's unconnected to him, then I hear you, but he is connected. So why is it not considered enough?
Gemara Vaita, where this Gemara is going to be, where the Gemara is going to ask that question. Yeah, it's very good. Because otherwise if he's giving him what Akiva is asking, he's going to pay him. So then of course this is going to be that's considered enough. Okay, so but Yosef Mikan Yosef eating Suva. That's only where he says beferish 30 days. Al Bastam, but if he stam says my wife can't get enough from me, Yosef La Alta eating Suva. The same as we said before. He has to divorce her right away and give the Suva. Shmuel Amar Afilu Bastam Nami Yamtin. Even stam, we wait. Shema Yimta Pesach Lenidra because he's gonna have a Pesach to the neder. So you see. So we have this machlokes by us when he makes a neder about intimacy, and we have the same exact machlokes when he still makes a neder about benefiting anything to her. So why do we need two machlokes? So Tzricha the Gemara says no, you need both. Because if you're going to say by intimacy, you can't ask a middleman. You're right. You can't go ask a middleman, even bismanazeh, even bismaneh, whatever it is. You can't go ask a middleman. I can't have tashin or whatever. You mind taking over for me? Can't do that, right? But you could do that for food. That you could use a parnas in a middleman. Maybe you'd be minded to Shmuel that he doesn't have to get divorced right away. And if you say it by the case of Hana, that where he just said everything's also maybe by the first case he'd be minded to Rav. So therefore we need to have both cases. Okay, so now the Gemara says the Talmidim Yotzin Talmud, right? So the Talmidim would go out to learn. They don't even have to ask their wives. I mean, I believe that they have to tell their wives that they're going, but the wife has no input, meaning they can go out for up to 30 days to yeshiva. As long as they come back after 30 days, that's fine. They don't need rishus. So rishus kama, right? And let's say if he does go with rishus, so he asks his wife rishus, how long can he leave if he asks his wife for rishus? So Gemara says, what do you mean? What kind of question is that? Kama debai. As much as she lets you go. So the Gemara says, Orcha de milsa kama. What's the derech? What's derech eretz? Rashi says. Right? So this, I believe, there's a lot of musar and shalom bias from this. Now, meaning what Rashi says, shaloi yisal chet, meaning it's derech eretz. What, even if she gives you permission, but what's proper? Even if the husband, and the top Rashi, even if the husband is able to convince her that, oh, let me go for 3 months, let me go for 4 months, right? Even so, she may just be full of baloney, meaning he could be mafata her, but the bottom line is she is not going to be happy.
Right? Where does Rabbi Kiva come in?
That's going to be on Amud Beis. That's Tosis Kasha. That Kasha is coming. That's Tosis asked that Kasha. But either way, but the point is that just because your wife says yes doesn't mean that she really agrees. That's what you see from this Gemara. Yeah. Either way, so that's what the Gemara wants to know. So Amarav, also to answer Naftali's question. So. How did Rabbi Kiva go for 12 years and then 24 years? And so Taisa's first teretz is that she was very happy to do it. It wasn't shot that he had to convince her. She was pushing him out the door. So that's already not a problem. Right? Or he's talking about, one is talking about going to work, one is talking about going to learn. Either way, so on the top.
Where's the get there where you know where she's she's really Musk? I'm saying.
Hey, Isaac, if I knew the answer to that, I would be not a millionaire. I'd be a billionaire.
Yeah, because you know your wife.
No, I don't even think. I don't know if anybody knows. There's no way. But he's saying that convincing her, just meaning if she's like, then already you know that, then you shouldn't.
Yeah, that I understand. But some people say what they mean and mean what they say, but they don't. Always.
Okay, correct. It's a very tough thing. Because they want to do what's
Yeah,
right.
David, it's 2 days before Yom Tov. You can go to the Yankee game. Have a great time. It's okay. I'm home 2 days before you go to the game. Have a great time. Enjoy yourself.
So sometimes they telling you, get out of here and go to the game. Sometimes they really do want you going.
It's Yaakov. Everyone knows the people that go to Uman. It's all sincere.
Yeah. Whatever. That's a good example, Akiva Taki. Going to Uman for Yom Tov. It's true. Anyways, okay. So
Yaakov, if you ask any of these people, they'll tell you my wife wants to go. I haven't met one guy that told me the wife doesn't want him to go. Now it could be for other reasons, like you said, but
right. That's true. But you're right. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. I really don't know what to do with that. Okay. So anyway, so Amar Rav. So Rav says Chodesh kan v'chodesh b'bayis. 1 month at home, 1 month in the yeshiva. Shenemar l'chol davar Machlokes. Right. Anything that having to do with splitting up. So haba ba'yotzes chodesh b'chodesh l'chol chodshei hashana. Anybody that came and went, it was month by month throughout all the months of the year. Right. This is talking about all the different. It was all the different shvatim that this is talking about for David HaMelech, and they switched off. So you see that the maximum they were gone is for a month. No, he says different. A month here and 2 at home, meaning 1 month yeshiva, 2 months at home. Shenemar chodesh yu b'Lebanon, shnayim chadashim bebeisay. 1 month in Lebanon in Eretz Yisrael, and 2 in the bayis. Right, that's talking about when Shlomo HaMelech was getting people to help build the Beis HaMikdash. So they had one crew went for a month, and the other crews went for 2 months. For Rav Nami, my time and Rav, how come he didn't learn it out from that pasuk? Right? So Shani Binyan Beis HaMikdash Efshal Yidei Acherim. Binyan Beis HaMikdash is different because that was Efshal Yidei Acherim. Meaning you don't bring a raya there that they needed you to come for a month and stay home for 2 months, because they just simply didn't need the workers. Rabbi Yochanan, my time alone right here. How come Rabbi Yochanan doesn't want to learn out from that pasuk? Shani Hasam de Islay Harvacha. There is different because maybe by the kings they're going to be making a lot of money. So if they're making a lot of money, the wives are going to be very happy to let them go. Now there's also a fascinating Rashi here. What's a pshat in this Gemara? Because there's going to be a steer to this Gemara on the base. Meaning, and a wife. You're saying that a wife is going to have more of an issue with the husband going to learn for long term, as opposed to the husband going on a business trip and coming back with money. That's exactly what the Gemara is saying. If you see Rashi, Shani Hasam, Rashi says that because they're going to be nene, he's going to be good profit if he goes to the month to work for the king for a month and then come back. But Rashi finishes up al Talmud Torah mitzvah dilehu. She just looks at Talmud Torah. That's his mitzvah. He's coming back empty-handed. If anything, he's coming back with nothing, right? And she's sacrificing. And what is she? There's nothing tangible that she sees from it. All she sees is Talmud Torah, right? Even though
I don't know, a wife that doesn't appreciate her husband learning, something's wrong with that also.
Correct. But it seems like that, at least the way this Gemara is saying, is that there's a chashash that the woman, if the husband leaves for such a long term, she's not seeing enough tangible gain that she may have a hard time with it. That's the pshat in this Gemara. It's wild. It's wild. Right? No, I'm saying sometimes you do have that where the wives complain. Listen, I need my husband's help at night. He can't go out and learn. I need his help, or I need him to be around. Or sometimes
maybe they look at it. If she brings a sizable profit, then she's gonna be able to get help.
That could be. You know what you mean?
If he's gonna go out to learn, I'm still stuck with the 6-8 kids at home, and I gotta this at least. I don't know. I'm saying
okay, no? But it is harder
See, Yaakov, isn't there all these stories though, like where the tzaddikim would say like I don't know, maybe I think I saw a story with the Rabbi Levine. He always said he's like my Torah is her Torah.
Yes, we're going to see that.
Saying, but it's just not tangible. Meaning you can't bring that as a right because it's not tangible.
Those are the Gedalim. Those are saying, but the average woman, I guess, does not. It's going to be a kasha on Amud Beis. The Gemara is going to ask.
I know, but it's not. Rashi seems to be Masha. It's not the law.
What?
Be you say not the law? His learning. If it was the law, would that count?
If it was what?
Rashi's Masha. It's because Torah is delay. Rashi says.
Right.
And if it was the law, also.
No, if it was D-law, so she would feel something
thinks.
Tangible from it. She would have something tangible from it.
You're saying because it's tangible, not because it's not hers.
That's why
it would be hers.
I don't know if I'm right. That's why I'm understanding it. Yeah, but I don't know.
Wouldn't that explain the steer between this and Rabbi Akiva? She understood that this was more to her benefit than him being there. So Mamela, he came back. He said, "Shaliva shalachem shalohi." Whereas the average woman doesn't. It seems selfish.
Maybe. It could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So let's see. Amar Rav, Anocha, Sheveres Chatzi Kuvah. This Gemara was in Brachas too. If you complain, not complain. How do you say it? If you krechts, right? Right? What do you call sigh? If you give a sigh, then that can cause it can break half your body. Meaning, if somebody gives a loud sigh, I don't know if it has to be loud, but any sort of sigh, because it says Va'ata ben Adam he'anach b'shibrin masnayim u'meriras te'anach. It says you ben Adam he'anach b'shibrin masnayim, that you should be sad. No, you're sighing with the broken masnayim is, how do you call it, the loins, right in the middle of the body. That's what the u'meriras te'anach, and you have a sigh that's bitter. It breaks the whole body of the person. It says, what are you complaining about, or sighing about? Right? Because there's news coming, and everybody's going to be sad, and everything's going to be weak, and everybody's going to get shvach, and so you see, right? This is talking about the news of the churban, right? So you see that the making a anocha, a sigh, is a bad thing. Okay, so Rabbi Yochanan Nami Hoksib b'shivrin masnayim. So Rabbi Yochanan, who says it's the whole body, it also says shivrin masnayim, which is half the body. So it says ahidichi maschala mi masnayim maschala. Where does the body start breaking? It starts breaking from the middle. Right, so it's not a steer. For Rav Nami Hoksiv nomis kol leiv v'rofu kol yadayim v'chayesel kol ruach. It says that it's going to do the whole body. Making sighing is going to ruin the whole body. So it says shani shmua the beis hamikdash that keep it to the shmua about the beis hamikdash is very strong. So that sighing, because of that, it's breaking people's bodies. Right? So now Gemara brings a story about this, which seems maybe to be a little bit the opposite. But again, here the Gemara is saying that the bad news of the Beis Hamikdash can break the whole body. Halavai by all of us that should do that, right? But there was a guy in a year traveling together. Was not able to walk with. He wasn't able to keep up with the Yisrael. So the guy had a good idea. He's going to slow the yid up by mentioning the Churban Beis Hamikdash to him. So Nogid ve'isnach. So the yid just he complained or he kvetched. And he couldn't catch up to him. So Malais, he said to him, Lav Amriso Anocha Sheveres Chatzi Guba Shaladam. Guys, for the last 2 hours you weren't found to be in this house. I'm giving shir now. Now you have to be here. Okay, so then go back to where you were playing before. Why not? How do you like that? I don't know. It's quiet in this house. I figured, okay, I don't have to go to my mother. It's quiet. Of course, you can start.
Yeah, it sounds like you also got a ping pong table.
No, that's that. They're not playing ping pong. If they'd be playing ping pong, that would be good. Anyway, All right. So, sorry. So anyway, so where's the place? Oh, so he didn't slow up. He mentioned the base of Mikdash, the Churim base of Mikdash. He didn't slow up. Don't they say that if you complain, if you groan, then it's going to break half your body? So how come you're still walking fast? That's only if you hear new bad things. But this unfortunately we've heard it many times about the Churban. Because people say the Malfi Tichle Loibasa, somebody who is he learned from Malfi means from the word learned. Tichli, if you learned about things that are bad, so Loibasa, you're not it doesn't change you and it doesn't affect you, which is unfortunately the way it is nowadays with the Korban.
But it's normal. The Gemara is telling you it's normal.
It's normal, correct. It's a chizik to us. It's normal. We heard the news. We heard the news already, and that's it. It's very hard for it to affect us, so it didn't slow him up.
I never met a guy with such a lamdan. He tells him to slow down, that he's not going. He's going to be out of breath. It's a big lamdan.
Yeah, well, you see that a lot throughout Shas. That the Goyim knew all sorts of. They knew all sorts of Yiddish things. They knew these phrases. Yeah, fine. Tayalim b'chol yom. So we said Tayalim.
Maybe he worked in a yeshiva, so he hung out. He knew what was going on.
Yeah. They love to speak Yiddish and say all these phrases. Yeah. I don't know if it's this. This is already a little bit more than that, but yeah. So it says Tayalim b'chol yom. So Tosfos says, what's Tayalim? So Tayalim is that they al shem shedarkam betula daftanai. They sit in the shade of their houses. Meaning, Tayalim are people that are around. So we said Tayalim have to sleep with their wives every day. My Tayalim, what are they? Amarava b'nei Pirki. They're people that learn in the city. They don't travel. They don't go. They go to in-town yeshivas, not out-of-town yeshivas. Right. So since they're always around, so then mainly they have to be with their wives. So yeah.
I don't know if anybody showed you. My son Zevi showed me one time. You know the Shuk Iraqi, it's right next to Machne Yehuda.
No.
Next time it's you're there, have somebody go to Machne Yehuda and ask them to show you the Shuk Iraqi. You'll see them who Tayalim are. You'll mamish see it.
Oh yeah?
Yes, a whole bunch of guys who just sit there playing sheshbesh and drinking coffee and smoking the whole day. Just like Shuk Iraqi, it's called. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what maybe that's what this whatever it is they're around. So Amalei Abaya, Mandich Sivbahu. So Gemara is asking a kasha now. What does it say in the pasuk? And this is pretty scary pasuk here. It says Shav lachem mashkimekum me'acharei shavas oichlei lechem ha'atzavim. So it says Shav lachem. It's nothing for you. Those that get up early and me'acharei shavas will go to sleep late. And who end up eating bread that makes them sad, right? This Rashi says is talking about those that stay up late and get up early to earn a living, and then they end up with nothing. Kain yitin liyedidoi shena. So he gives to the yedidoi shena. So now what does that mean? Kain yitin liyedidoi shena. V'amar Yitzchak elun l'shesein shel tamid chachamim. These are the wives of tamid chachamim. Shemenadadoi shina meineim ba'olam hazeh. They don't sleep in this world. The wives don't sleep. That's going to bring them to Chai Olam Haba. Meaning those that are staying up late and getting up early to earn a living. So okay, it's for this world. It's for nothing, right? But the wives that stay up waiting for their husbands to come up from yeshiva, so then that's they're going to get schar. Now, you see that they're staying up, and you say that it's B'nai Pirki, right? Meaning, if the B'nai Pirki are staying up every night so late learning, so now why are you saying that those are the ones that are mechuyev to be with their wives? They're staying up. So this Gemara seems to be saying that they stay up so late at night waiting for the husband, so it doesn't end up being because they're only being together because the husbands are learning. Yeah, so. Meaning, so what is it? Are the ones that are local in yeshivas supposed to be the wives every night or not? From the second Gemara, it sounds like not. because otherwise, what's the schar that the wives? What's the schar? Elam Rabbi. So Rabbi says Kidarav, Damar Rav, Rav Shmuel Bashelas. It's referring to Rav Shmuel Bashelas, the Acha Mididei, who eats his own food, B'Shasi Mididei, he drinks his own drink, Begani Betula Daftana, and he sleeps under the shade, like Taisa said, of his own house. V'loy Chalav Pristika de Malka above, and the Pristika de Malkas, the king's tax collectors, don't even come to his house above by his door, because he's so poor. Rashi says that they don't think he has got any tax to pay anyways. So what's he saying here? He's saying that this is referring to somebody who's supposed to be together with his wife is a Melamed Tinaikas, a kid that's a Rebbe. He supports himself like this, and Mamela, he's around, and life ain't so difficult, and Mamela, he should be with his wife every night. Right? So what do you see from this? And this is another loaded thing. So you see that there is an Indian to take care of Rebbeim, that their lives should be easy so that they're available to teach the kids. They shouldn't work too hard so that they're available to put all their koyach into the kids. That's what in Shulchan Aruch it says. Shulchan Aruch says that a Melamed cannot stay up late at night, can't party, he's got to eat normally, he's got to do all these things because he has to be well rested for the kids. So anyway, so that's what we're saying. That's the type of person. So since he's so well rested and he's around, no reason why he can't be with his wife every night.
So to be Melamed Schus and Ardar like you like to do, I have written in my Gemara, Dr. Katz, Sighing is a Moshe Katz. He's a doctor now, right? So he told us when I used to eat by him as a bacha. So by then, his Rebbe, I don't know which grade, his Rebbe in Cheder, his Rebbe was also a shoichet. So he would fall asleep all the time during the class. He would just fall asleep. So one time they glued his face, they glued his beard to the table. He woke up and he was mamish on the table. He was glued
there. There's no schus over here.
What I mean?
Everything is bad here. The Rebbe's bad, Talmidim are bad.
Or because he's falling asleep?
Well, it's a master from the Gemara. You can't do that. You're right to the children.
I'm saying, yeah, it doesn't mean that, yeah. But at least, I don't know.
And the children learn bad habits. What does that mean? There's no schussim here.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, but you see that you have to have the what do you call it? The how do you say it? You have to have the Rebbeim, so they're calm and cool and collected, so they're fine. So Kiyasa Rabanan Omar Kigoin Mefanki de Marav. He says a different ones. The Mefunakim. I think that's where it comes from the word Mefunuk. So Rashi says the Meunogim b'Meichel, they take care of themselves, they eat and they drink and they're healthy, so they have koyach to have relations. So they're mechuyev too. Yeah. So Rabavo Habakoi Beibani, and the Gemara just brings stories about the strength of someone else. Rabavo Habakoi Beibani. Rabavo was in a bathhouse. Habasamchile Trey Avdi, and he had two servants where they were holding him up. If I guess when you have three people standing together, so the floor of the bathhouse broke. It's Ramile Amuda, and there would happen to have been a pillar there that was holding up the roof, the floor. So Salik Vasikinu, and he picked it up. He picked up the two avodim and he carried them and he saved them. Yeah, meaning he pulled like a pole. He pulled himself up the pole, up the pillar. So you see how strong Rabavo was. So I guess somebody with that type of strength would have to be with his wife every night if he's around. Yochanan have a kasolik bedager. Yochanan was going up steps. Have a samkile Rav Ami Ravasi, and Rav Ami Ravasi, he was leaning on Rav Ami Ravasi. A pischa darga tuse. So it opened up. It became from pachas. It became the steps collapsed under them. Solik vaskinu. So Rabbi Yochanan, picked up Rav Ami and Ravasi. So if you're so strong, so why were you leaning on them in the first place? So what kind of strength when I leave for when I'm older? Meaning he's trying to survive. He's trying to not survive. He's trying to what's the conserve. Yeah, he's trying to conserve energy for later. So therefore, he's going to lean on Ravami and Ravasi. I can't say understand that tomorrow either.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he a big Balbasar of Yochanan?
Yeah, that's what it says, right?
So it doesn't take away from the fact that he's strong. He just had trouble walking because he was very heavy. So he had two shamasim. What's the big deal? He got lados. He had two shamasim helping him. Doesn't mean he wasn't strong.
I hear. Could be. No, but it says he was strong. It does say he was strong.
Yes, if that doesn't say he wasn't strong. Just that he had two shamasim doesn't take away from the fact that he's strong. He weighed 400.
He was leaning on them.
400 pounds. Yeah, so he had to get to walk.
You mean he was strong, but he couldn't move?
Yeah, no.
Power hitter.
He was the first DH of Yochanan.
There you go, very right. He's a DH. I hear. Anyways, okay, very good. So Apoilim Shtayim the Shabbos. So workers have to be with their wives twice a week. But Tanya Apoilim Achas b'Shabbos, workers only get once a week. Only have to be together once a week. On Rabbi Yezebel Chanina Loikasha. Kan ba'is malacha be'iron. One is somewhere where they have local malacha. Kan ba'is malacha be'iracheres. And one is somewhere where they have malacha in another city. So when they're working local, so they have to be together twice a week. If they have work in another city, then they only have to be together once a week. It's twice a week. That's only when they're working in the city. It's once per Shabbos. Pischei Tshuva and Shulchan Aruch says that Bizman Hazeh, that most husbands are around, that we paskin that we're like Tayalim and you're supposed to be together twice in a week. Again, this is all assuming that she's not Meichel. If she's Meichel, then you don't have to have this. And it's also if he's sick and he's not well, Shulchan Aruch says, then he doesn't have to be together either, because he's an Einus, like everything else. He would be Potter.
What about if it's a suffix, if the guy's going out of town, but he doesn't know if he's gonna make his money. He's going to a show to try to pick up business. So he's allowed to be pageya from his wife.
Because then it doesn't say you have to come home with money. It just says that this is the
have to be profitable.
Yeah. Now again, the stam, I think it's important to just point out with this whole sugi is what's the big deal? So you come home and you be together with your wife? No, I think the pshat is that you're mechuyev to spend enough time with your wife that she wants it. Meaning, what's going to make her want it is by you spending time with her. So it's not pshat. You're going to just come in and say, okay, the Shulchan Aruch says we have to be together, so let's be together. Right? No, that's not. It doesn't work like that. You're mechuyev to try and give her time so that she wants it. Okay, that's a whole schmooze. That's a whole schmooze unto itself. But that's otherwise. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Just be with her.
Wednesday night.
What? I said I'm not giving shalom bayis. Anyways, chamarim achas b'Shabbos. So it says chamarim, right? A donkey driver is once a week. Now again, in the beginning of the mission, we had a Machlokes b'Sham v'Hillel. They said maximum. If you make a neder 2 weeks, then you have to get divorced. At least according to Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel said 1 week, but either way, half the Mishnah they don't even have to be together that often, right? Gamal, what's it called? Was I don't remember now the different ones in the Mishnah. How do you call it? Chamarim was once been Shabbos. A camel driver is once every 30 days. The sailors once every 6 months, right? So those guys. You're still getting divorced, even if he makes a neder. He's not sleeping with his wife for 2 weeks. He's not supposed to sleep with his wife for 6 months, right? So that's a Gemara's kasha. The Tana is doubling, saying the same thing twice, just to talk about a tile and a pile, because the tile and a pile are the ones that are supposed to be together once a week or twice a week, right? But the other ones don't have to be together. So for that often. So Malay, Hantamid Beis, Malay, Loy Akulu, what's going on all the cases in the Mishnah. So how could it be going on all the cases in the Mishnah? It says he has 6 months. right? So how can you go say that if the guy makes a camel driver on his way out, he wants to just yell at his wife? So he says to her, "I'm not sleeping with you for 2 weeks." She's like, "Shkoyach, what kind of thing is that? You're not going to sleep with me for 6 months. You're not mechuyev to be with me." So why would that be a problem? So what I answer is, there's no comparison to somebody who has his bread in his basket to somebody who doesn't. Meaning, if she knows that it's usher onto her, so she's going to be stressed out about it, right? I'm sorry. She's going to be stressed out about it if she knows that there's this neder against her, even though the neder is going to not be negeya anyways. So that's the thing here with meaning as long as she knows that there's a possibility, she's going to be okay. If she knows it's not possible, then she's not going to be okay, right? So that's like a psychological thing. If we learn out from Yuma, where you tell a guy that if somebody has food and they're fasting, so if somebody who has the yechilas to break his fast at any time, which is us nowadays, we don't feel the pressure, right? But somebody who doesn't have food is going to find it much more difficult to fast because he doesn't. There, it's literal. He doesn't have pas b'saleh. Here, we're just using it as a mashal. Fine. So Amalei Rabbi Baruch Hanan la'abaya chamar b'nasa gomel mai. Oh, so what happens if she marries a donkey driver who's once a week? Then he says, hey, it's much more lucrative to be a camel driver, but a camel driver is once every 6 months, right? So what's the story there? Can he do that? Meaning, can he take this job without asking his wife? So Amalei, right? To Isha b'kav v'tiflus, a woman would rather have a kav, a smaller amount of food, and tiflus, and have relations, me'asara kav and uprecious, than having 10 kav and not being together with her husband. So it sounds like from this Gemara, that a woman would rather have the intimacy than to have more money, which is a stira to the Gemara we said on Amud Aleph, right? Because we said on Amud Aleph, the woman would rather, when he's making lots of money, she's okay. Right? She says, as opposed to learning where he's not coming home with lots of money. That's Tosfos Kasha. Tosfos is saying, well, which one is it? Do the women want more money and less intimacy, or more intimacy and less money? So Tosfos says maybe working for the king, there's so much money that would negate it, right? But and then again, you ask, and this comes up in Shalom Bayis all the time. You ask a woman, it's not exactly the same thing, but you ask any woman, she'd rather a husband help out a lot in the house, but he doesn't do it with a smile. He's a grump about it, or he takes out the garbage once a week, but he does it with a big smile and says, "I appreciate you." Da 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 da. Almost all women are going to sign up for the guy doing kemat no work, but doing it happy. They don't care about that how much you're doing; it's how it's being done, which is a basic rule of marriage. And it seems like you can apply that. I don't know if you say the same thing here, but it's along the same lines. Okay. Hasfina achas hasafanim, sorry, achas l'shisha chadashim. It's once every 6 months. Divrei Rebbe Eliezer. So Amar Abruna Amar Rav, halacha Rebbe Eliezer. Halacha is like Rebbe Eliezer, right? That you can go, that you can stay away for up to 30 days. So Amar Rav Ada Amar Rav. They can go out 2 to 3 years without reshus. So meaning, they found the das yochid, the chacham, the talmidim found the das yochid, even though we paskin they can't leave without their wife's permission for more than 30 days. But here they found the shita that held you can go for 2-3 years. Some Barava, Samchu Rabanan of the Ravada Barava. Rava said the Rabbanan was Saimach on the sheet of Ravada Barava. Right? It's like, you speak to yeshiva guys. Are you like, is it mutter to smoke? Not mutter to smoke. Yeah, we found that it's a shita that says it's okay with Saimach on it. Right? So that's basically the same thing that they were doing here. That's what Rava is saying. They were Saimach on this shita to allow them to be able to go away for longer periods. And that's what they did for themselves. They were Saimach on that. Rabbi Rechume would go to Rava's yeshiva in Mechuza. and he would come home every Erev Yom Kippur. One day his learning was pulling him. And his wife was looking for him. Rashi says is the targum of mitzapeh, to look. Hashta. She was saying, now he's coming. Lo also he didn't come. So she had chalisha zadas, achis dimasa me'ena, and then a tear came out of her eyes, and havayasa be'igra. He was sitting in the attic, afchis igra metuse, and the attic fell out from under him, but noch nafshe, and he died because he caused his wife to have the tsar of a tear. So again, all the shalom bayis, svarim or darshan to say that the koyach of a tear of a wife, or if a wife is waiting for her husband to come home and the husband doesn't come home, it's a problem. It's a problem. You don't want to leave the wife hanging like that, which nowadays with technology, you don't really have an excuse, right? You pick up the phone and tell her I'm late, or you text and say I'm on the way, and that will give them more yeshiva das. Now, what's the pshat that
it's one tear, and now she doesn't have her husband anymore?
Correct.
Now what?
Correct. Yes, I meant to look around for today what the pshat in that is. I don't know what the pshat is because now she's an Amud.
Art Scroll has a note to look in Chaim Shmuel to say for CFS Musa.
Yeah. Okay, so go look it up, Naftali. Let us know what it says.
But didn't we have a Gemara where Rabba was a sharecropper or something, and it was he only for 4 months or something he went away.
6 months. 6 months in each direction. He went to learn by his Rebbe for 1 day a year.
Right, but that was the schar. That was the schar he got.
Right.
Yeah.
There was something about Yontif. He was home for Yontif.
Yeah, Pesach.
Yeah, that's
Pesach
correct.
Okay, I didn't remember what Yontif.
I found it interesting because we're talking about them coming home to be Makai in the midst of Aina. And when did they come home? And the next story is going to be like this also. They came home Erev Yom Kippur, so they couldn't even be together with their wives anyways. Right?
That's because your first, spend time first.
Maybe, but you're not spending too much time in Yom Kippur either.
That's a raya that didn't spend the whole day in shul.
Oh, that maybe, or is the raya you don't have to be in yeshiva for Yom Kippur. You can already leave Ben Azmanim before Yom Kippur. That's what I was taking out of it. But anyways, yeah. Bye.
Yaakov, I thought you were saying you don't have to be in yeshiva for Yom Kippur.
I wasn't saying that. Okay, yeah. What's the ayn of Tamid Chachamim? Right. So Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Me'erev Shabbos, Erev Shabbos. So a Talmud Chacham only has to be with his wife Friday nights. Why? Because Rashi says it's a lel tainug b'shvisa v'hanos haguf. It's a night for enjoying yourself. So intimacy would be the same thing. Asher pirya.
Who were all the people on Amud Aleph if they weren't Talmidei Chachamim?
No, so I don't know. Enochanami. I hear. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, unless they didn't, for that, maybe at that point, they didn't consider themselves Talmidei Chachamim. I don't know. Asher Priya Yitib.
So maybe a Talmud Chacham is a Gadol Adoir or something.
Well, that's a big shiloh. So the Mishnah says, how about somebody nowadays? Most things we say we don't have Talmidei Chachamim nowadays. So we say that for this too? So Mishnah Guru says, really, we don't say it for this, but he says, for this, you could say Talmud, you're Talmud Chacham. And if somebody who sits and learns can also consider himself a Talmud Chacham, that he doesn't have to be with his wife only from Friday night to Friday night. Okay, Asher Priya Yitem Be'ita, that its fruit is giving at the right time. Amar Rav Yehuda B'Tamer Rav Huna B'Tamer Rav Nachman Zeh Mashamash B'Tazim Erev Shabbos Erev Shabbos. That's somebody who's goes from Erev Shabbos Erev Shabbos, right? And that's Priya Yitem Be'ita. That's he'll have children from that. Fine. Yehuda Breder Rav Chia Chasnei Rav Yanai. Yehuda, the son of Rav Chia, and was the son-in-law of Rav Yanai. Hava Azul B'Yosef B'Rav. He was sitting in yeshiva. B'chol Beis Shimshi Hava Azil B'Beisei, and on every Erev Shabbos Bein Hashmashos he would come home. V'chi Hava Asi Hava Kachazi Kamei Amud Denura, and they would see like this pile of this pile. I don't know, it's a pile. What do you call it? An amud of a pillar of fire coming. Yom Echad Mashach Deshmai. So one Friday, he was busy with the sugya. Even the people didn't see that simon, that the fire coming. Amalu Rabbi Yanis. Rabbi Yanis said, "Kafum mitasai, turn over your beds." right? Meaning that's a sign of Avelus. Shalmala Yehuda Kayim, like B'talei Nasa, he would not be Mavatal his Aina, which is still a fascinating thing. So what the whole Olam is analyzing, whether he's coming home to be together with his wife or not. Right? What kind of tznius is that? That's a whole different shmooze. But anyways, so he says it has to be. He takes his mitzvah of Aina serious. So because he said it must be he died. It's we had this pasuk a few times. It's like a shoygig coming out from a ruler, but noch nafshe, and he died because it's like tzaddik guys of Hashem Mekayim. Fine. Rebbe Yasikle Lebrei Brei Berabchia. So Rebbe, this is also an interesting story here. I'm not sure what to make of it exactly, but Rebbe was Isaac with his son, with a shidduch for the son of the daughter of Berabchia. When it came time to write the ksuba, noch nafshe de revisa, the lady was nifter, the kala was nifter. So I'm a Rebbe chas v'shalom psuli. Maybe there was a psul in the shidduch, that's why she died. So they went and then they started doing research on the families. Rebbe Asi Mishpatia ben Avital. Rebbe came from Mishpatia ben Avital, who was the son of David. But Rabchia Asi Mishamei Achei David. He came from the brother of David. So Mamela, it was not as chashuv, so they should not have done that shidduch. Okay, so that's why she died. So also Liasikle Lebrei Rav Yossi ben Zimra. So they went to do a shidduch with the son of Rav Yossi ben Zimra, with the daughter. I'm sorry. So Paskule Tarti Sri Shnin Lemezel Beirav. They made up that he's going to go learn for 12 years by Rav before getting married. Right? They're going to get engaged. He's going to learn for 12 years, and then he comes back, and then they're going to get married. Achlefu Kameh. So they brought the kala in front of him. I'm assuming they brought the kala in front of him because he has to see the kala before like we have in Kiddushin, you have to see the kala before getting engaged. Amaluna havu shishnin. So then he said 6 years.
And it's Rav who was mangid for that. It's the same Rav.
Yeah, very good.
You wanted to go to Rav's Beis Medrash. Rav was mangid for me. Yeah.
Very good. Very good, Taka. To go to Oro. So Achlufu Kame, then they brought her in front of him again. I'm not sure why they brought her in front of him again. The second date. Amar Lahu, Ichnis V'Hadar Ezel. He says, first let me get married and then I'm going to go learn. Right? Have a Kamichsef Me'avua, and that he was embarrassed from his father. I guess because now he decided to give in to do marriage before learning. Amalei, he said, B'ni, das kaincha yesh b'cha. You have the das of your kaina, of the one who owns you, literally, meaning of Hashem, because in the beginning it says to be ema, bring them into Eretz Yisrael and plant them in Eretz Yisrael, right? And then they're going to build a Beis HaMikdash. Rashi says, make me a mikdash, and I'm gonna stay there. Meaning in the midbar before they got to Eretz Yisrael, Hashem decided, even though they were only there temporarily, he's going to first, they're going to build a mishkan, a temporary mishkan. So you see that before the Hashem changed his mind. First he thought, okay, marriage is the equivalent of moving to Eretz Yisrael. That's the mashal and the nimshal. And then they changed his mind and they said, let's do something temporary. So that's what he said. By him choosing to first get married temporarily, I mean, the marriage is going to be permanent, but get married a little bit, then go to learn for 12 years. So that was the equivalent. So also, Yosef Tarti Sri Shni Beirav, and then he went and he learned by Beirav for 12 years. Asa Yakar Devisu, but he comes at the time he came back, she already became an Akara. Right? So because Rashi says if a woman goes 10 years without her husband, she's not going to be able to have kids. From the Gemara Yevamos. So Amar Rav, Hechinavit. So Amar Rebbe. So Rebbe said, what should we do about this? Nigarsha. If he should divorce her, we're going to say, he made her wait 12 years and then he divorced her. So what did he cause this woman so much pain? Ninsiv, it's achriti. Should he take another woman as a wife? Yaimru, zu ishtai, v'zu zugasai. This they're going to say this is his wife and this is his zainam son is zainasai. Zu ishtai, v'zu zainasai. One is his zaina, one is his wife. Right, meaning she's only there for him to sleep with him. So Bayala Rachme Vitzia. So they had Rachmanis and they healed her. right? So it's interesting. So they had the koyach to do the nace, but they didn't want to rely on this nace in the first place, right? So what they do? So okay, we'll heal her. And they tried all the other options, and when all else failed, so then they took care of her, and they made her better. Anyways,
Rebbe
okay,
was
it's late.
still
It's
alive?
late, so we'll stop here. Now that I lost the 9:30 Ma'ariv, so yeah, yeah, fine.
Yeah, what was that other bar we had on behalf of the Rebbe commercial?
What?
There was another thing we learned out of the puzzle.
Did you have to love your friend like you?
No, something else. Also, it's a good Sean bias schmooze.
I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, okay, so we'll stop here. Yeah, fine. So tomorrow night, I guess 8:30.
Shikaya.
Okay, have a good night.
So yeah, can I ask you a question on the kashrus stuff Alan was discussing earlier?
Yeah.
If they're making people kasher their dishes, does that mean that they know Vade people ate treif?
They caught him bringing on the video camera, bringing treif into the restaurant.
Right, but I'm saying if someone said
that video, by the way, it looks like he's bringing in vegetables.
I didn't see the video. I didn't see anything. I only get my news from the shilas.
No, but I get no. That's inherently what I'm asking. If you see someone carrying treif food, you have to kasher your dishes. That's not like a svek sveka.
What's the svek sveka?
Like you don't know where you didn't see him cook it, right? You didn't see him serve it to you. You didn't even see whatever. I don't know.
He must have. Who picked up Chinese, came home and put it on dishes.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm asking. All right, no, that's true. Really, what I'm asking is, was this lechumra?
They're not. Hello. They're not just making everybody kasher their dishes. It's only if you use it in a specific way.
And Mistama, maybe those are Manalapan, but most people that pick up Chinese are eating it out of the container or on plastic. They put it under dishes.
That's what I just said. Yeah, I agree with that. But was it? That's what I'm saying. Was this just the stam chumra, or is there actual halachic basis for telling people to kasher their dishes?
There is a halachic basis.
Which is what?
If they caught a guy and the guy says he's been using these things, so then
why do you believe the guy? You have a mashgiach tamidi there. Why do you believe the guy?
Obviously he wasn't so tamid.
I hear. Okay.
He was on the tape. Maybe he was on the tape.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's
no, but Stam, you would believe the owner over the mashgiach tamidi?
If he admits to it, then yes. No.
I hear. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I mean, what good is the mashgiach tamidi? I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna say that's what we're gonna say. That's the guy broke his chazakah, so Mamela, he's out. Yeah.
Right, but I could just I feel like it's a severe thing to make people kasher their dishes.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
No, it's not. It's like the guys, they caught him doing treif. Right? And if it's active, I don't know, whatever you want. If he's actively bringing in tarfa, so what's to it? Why not assume that everything's been treif?
Because you are a mashgiach.
So what? But the mashgiach didn't do his job. The mashgiach loses his chazakah that there was anything good going on there. If I'm saying the mashgiach to me, I don't know what happened. The mashgiach to me didn't catch it. but the cameras caught it. Is that what happened?
I have no idea. I don't know the story that I read was that they caught the guy in like Restaurant Depot.
I thought there was a video of him bringing it in.
No, I think someone videotaped him like loading his car with tray food.
So I didn't know that.
That's what I heard.
Restaurant.
They don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was all in Restaurant Depot.
I don't know.
That was my spec-faka, was that they never saw him in the restaurant. They saw him in Restaurant
Also,
Depot.
that I don't know. I'm not familiar with the.
And they confronted him, and he told them that it was for something else, apparently, whatever that means.
Yeah, and then what?
And then nothing. No one knows anything. The OK hasn't put out any official.
Yes, they did. The OK tweeted out.
No, not about what happened.
No, that's what I'm saying, Gershon. But at the end of the day, they said everyone should kasha their dishes. So I'm trying to figure out if they did that l'chumra, if they did that just to.
No, it seems that they found some other information besides for this mice that's going around.
Yeah. I mean, if for a hashkacha to come out with that Rabanan, that they messed up so bad, it must have messed up. They're not. If they had any way to hang it that they didn't have to do that, then they wouldn't.
That's why I'm a big fan of plastic. You don't have to kasha anything.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's harder to kasha oneself than the keli.
Yeah,
agreed. Agreed. That's why I don't eat in certain establishments.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's sad. It's a modern community. It's not like a community that could understand all this stuff. They have a harder time understanding these things.
Right.
Anyways, yeah. What do you want to say, Gershon?
Nah, nothing.